Welcome back to Think Twice MTG. I'm Alan, and you're watching some Magic. Okay. Today, I'm going to be running a league in MTGO with, I guess I'm just calling it Red-Green Icetill. You can tell it's red and green, and it has the card Icetill Explorer in it. So this is the center of the deck. The idea is this card allows you to do some things with lands that you don't often get to do, and it kind of like has two effects. So Icetill Explorer says you can play an additional land on each of your turns, and you can play lands from your graveyard. The other thing is whenever a land enters, whenever a land you control enters, you mill a card. So you're kind of filling your graveyard, your recurring lands, and you get to play extra lands. So the extra lands things that basically makes it so you get Icetill Explorer becomes a ramp card. You get access to more mana consecutively every single turn it's in play. The recursion from the graveyard means you can do some things with, in this deck, either Ghost Quarter or this one copy of Barbarian Ring. So it means I can recur Ghost Quarter over and over again, and sometimes once you get going, that's just a way you just actually end up making it so your opponent no longer can cast any spells because you just kill all of their lands. Especially when you start getting multiple Explorers in play, you're making, 3 or more land drops a turn, and that can just be Ghost Quarter, Ghost Quarter, Ghost Quarter. And so, like, sometimes you get to a point where, like, I'm killing 3 of your lands a turn. There's not going to be very long where you get to still cast spells. So to facilitate getting Icetill in play, we're running some other cards that do also ramp us. The first one is Utopia Sprawl. The second one is Explore, just good old classic. And the third one is Malevolent Rumble. So Explore is the one that's just like, okay, just put another land into play. You get to draw a card. It's generally the mopiest. What I have found is that even though there are times that it doesn't feel awesome, it really can, like, it really shines in, yeah, sometimes it just gets you to your 4 drops one turn sooner, but once you start having a couple Icetill Explorers in play and you're doing this recursion thing, Explorer gives you another land drop, so you go from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm doing some stuff real fast, okay? Rumble is a ramp spell because you make the spawn token, but it's also just good for consistency. It's going to do a couple things. It's going to fill the yard for Unholy Heat to get Delirium. It gives you lands you can play with Icetill. It finds some of these important cards that are permanents, and lets us cast Big Mama. So 2 copies of Emrakul, the Promised End, are like your top end. What I found is that the end game of just relying on Icetill and recursion of lands is not always like either enough to finish a game fast when you need to, or it's not always like a big enough thing to build to. So that is Emrakul, the Promised End, is a big thing you build to. Okay. I've gone through a lot of variations and ideas with this central idea of this Icetill Explorer deck. I think maybe I'm going to do like a one-man podcast episode kind of talking about how I got to this point. This is the best version of the deck in terms of my feel and my play testing so far. So you're doing that. Utopia Sprawl is one of the ramp spells of choice because it is 1 mana. Very few other ways at 1 mana besides just playing a mana creature that can die of ramping on turn 1, but also it's an enchantment that, so it's a permanent, you can find off Rumble if you need it, and it's another card type for Emrakul. Okay. When I first started playing Emrakul in this kind of shell, I had maybe 5 types I could hit. This deck has 7, and so being able to get up to that point is like, oh, that's a huge difference in getting this card into play. Okay, so you've just got your removal, Lightning Bolt, Unholy Heat. The main deck graveyard hate I'm running at the moment is Turn the Earth. Not fantastic. Couple of upsides of this card is it's an instant, so you can like kind of like what you do often with black and cling to dust is you can snipe a Flage. It also gains you a little bit of life, which is sometimes just a good benefit. And because it has flashback, if you mill it with Rumble or Icetill, it's no longer a dead mill because you're like, well, that's just in my yard now. You actually have the ability to do stuff with it, even though Rumble can't find it and Icetill can't recur it. So it doesn't leave you dead, and so it does give you a little bit of that protection that you kind of need. A couple of Haywire Mites. This is kind of just mostly a hedge, being in the main deck because it is once again another way just to gain a little bit of life. It is an artifact as a permanent you can find. It's also a creature, and there's not that many creatures in this deck to up the number. And just the ability to get rid of like artifacts and enchantments is kind of nice. So we do that. We already talked about some of these spells. Got a couple of Wrenn and Six, a couple Seasoned Pyromancer, another good card to mill. You're fine if it's in your hand. It's also great if it just gets put into your yard. I've got one Garruk Wild Speaker in here just because like I felt when I was running Utopia Sprawl having one other payoff for that card in particular. So now it's like if I don't find an Icetill, I've got, it's kind of like a fifth Icetill is the way it's operating in the deck. I'm not sure if it's a great inclusion or not. You don't really use most of its modes very well, but we'll test it out and see. 2 Legend of Roku. It might be very possible that the Garruk should just be a Legend of Roku. Or another thought I had, it's like a Chandra Torch of Defiance or something, maybe, just as another little side way to go there. But that's kind of the main idea of the deck. There are 25 lands, mostly what you'd kind of expect. There's 1 Shifting Woodland, which is kind of nice because sometimes you just copy like an Emrakul and swing in for 13. And especially since sometimes you just mill stuff and you didn't want to. 1 Boseiju, the 1 Barbarian Ring that you can recur once you get going late there, 4 Ghost Quarters, that sort of stuff. Sideboard has 2 Brotherhood's End, 1 Fire Magic, 1 Meltdown. Those 4 cards kind of combine to be like the Brotherhood's End operates as 2 more copies of Fire Magic and 2 more copies of Meltdown, kind of. So I get to feel like I'm playing 6 sideboard cards in the spot of 4. So I like that there. 2 Charma. I'm not really sure you need the Charma. You've got the Ghost Quarter recursion for taking out lands in those land decks, but sometimes maybe just having another threat is good. I don't know. That's one we'll see. 1 Endurance. Maybe I might just like this to be a second Endurance, like a Charma to be a second Endurance, and I don't know, some other card in here. Maybe a Surgical would be good. 2 Force of Vigor, 1 Soul Guide Lantern is just one more piece of graveyard interaction. Another one that I'm not sure about. 3 Vexing Bauble. You got to be able to fight stuff like Neoform, still good against Affinity and whatnot, and then Damping Sphere, really good against Storm. So that's kind of where we're sitting, and this is what we're gonna run through our league today, see how it does. And we are on the play for our first game against Lord Zas. I would like to play first, thank you. See, Stomping Ground, Rumble, Bolt, Icetill, Roku. A little bit heavy on the late game stuff, but I think we'll give it a shot. I'm somewhat tempted just to play the Mountain and hold up this Bolt. Then I can decide to shock in to play like Rumble on turn 2. So that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't reveal a ton about the deck, not that people are really going to be able to guess what I'm on. Okay. Weird that we skipped past the main phase to... Okay, so let's see. Wooded Foothills. What does Wooded Foothills mean? I don't know. We're gonna Rumble because we don't have another land in hand, so otherwise we'd play the Explore. So we'll grab the Wooded Foothills. We'll say okay, and then we'll pass. So we milled over Return the Earth. We already milled our first Emrakul. I don't love showing the opponent that that is something we're going for, but, you know, it is what it is. Sorry. I snapped to check the mic and then should have just thought about the fact that I could just say something and see if the mic was operating. It looked for a second on the recording that it like wasn't picking me up. But it's just because there was literally no sound. Okay, opponent gets a mountain. Plays a mire. So I'm starting to think this is maybe prowess. So we have mountain. Of course, steel cutter. Oh, it's storm. Okay, so we got Ral. Well, this is fine because what I can do is I can play my Icetill and then bolt the what's it called? So can actually also play the Utopia Sprawl. So if I get a forest, I can use the Stomping Ground to put the Sprawl in the forest, choose green, and I have green, green, red that I can then get back one of my fetches, get another Stomping Ground, bolt the Row. So that's what we'll do. Okay, so we target the forest, we pay with the Stomping Ground. I like putting Utopia Sprawl in the basics. Oh, I guess I couldn't really tell you why. I guess it's like, oh, you make sure that you don't get got by like land destruction. Not that I'm overly worried about that. So we'll mill. Sometimes you want to fetch in response to that Icetill trigger if like you know you only have one of something left, but I know I've got all 4 Stomping Grounds in the deck, so Ralgon. Oh, mill the Season Pyromancer. That's not a bad one. But so this is like a good example of where I finally landed on the deck is like, wait, I just need to be able to like maximize getting to a bunch of mana fast. And then you just kind of also have to have stuff you can do with it. Okay, tapped land. That is good. So my best route to being able to find a removal spell for the Ral is playing the Legend of Roku. So I'm going to do that. Okay, we did not, but we have started to find ghost quarters. So what do we want to do from here? I can play, like, say, this forest, for instance. And that's land drop with number 1. And then I'm going to start with my Explore. Okay, I found a Turn the Earth, which will be somewhat nice. So here's my Explore land drop. Found another Icetill. Now we can play the Wooded Foothills. But that's about it at the moment. I guess I could have attacked, but I don't think it really makes a huge difference. Okay. Reckless Impulse is fine. The fact that they're not starting with mana makes me feel okay. The Passion Flames Ral is really a good set of hits for us here. We will definitely be looking for the Damping Spheres in sideboarded games, but if we can steal this first one, it would be pretty nice. Okay, Manamorphose. So this is their second spell. Artist Talent. Okay. Pyretic. Alright. So that's 3 Rals. Scene. What are their 3 cards in hand? So they have to have another ritual of some kind in order to play the Past in Flames. We could then use the Turn the Earth to get the Manamorphose and the Pyretic Ritual out of the graveyard so that they can't really use them. We're getting in danger of that Ral flipping zone. There's another Past in Flames in the yard. It would be fine to hit that one. They still only have 3 mana. Strike It Rich is just 1 for 1. It's just banking a mana for next turn. They're down to 2 cards in hand. Once again, the 2 cards in the exile zone still don't matter. I'd imagine they would have played another ritual if they had it. So if they have one more spell to cast and they win the flip, they flip the Ral and they can ultimate the Ral, and that's probably game over. Okay. Paying for something. So this coin flip could potentially determine the game here. They're blood mooning me. I already have all of my basics in play. Main deck Blood Moon out of Storm. Huh? So I guess I just want to go get another forest then. Just to maximize how much green mana I can make. Okay, there goes an Unholy Heat that I could have used to kill the Ral. So we're going to flash back this turn the Earth. It's not the best because it shuffles them back into their deck. So they could draw them, but I think I just need to make it so that they don't have easy access to Past in Flames next turn. I mean, I could have just hit the Past in Flames maybe, so that, like, then that's just a bad draw. But, well, we're going to add a green mana with the legend. We'll say green, please. All right, so I think I want to start on this Rumble. We're at 5 types, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're down to 12. If we find an Emrakul off of this Rumble, we can cast it. We did not. The Shifting Woodland doesn't do us anything, so let's go Seasoned Pyromancer. Cast our Seasoned Pyromancer. Let's discard the Turn the Earth and the Land. That didn't find us anything. Can play the Ghost Quarter. Let's heat the Ral. We can play our forest. At this point, I almost just want to have this up. Okay, there was that. Here's our next Icetill, so they shouldn't be able to play these 2 cards anymore. And then I guess we just want to grab this thing. Mill. This thing. Oh, I've used all my land drops. That's fine. And we will attack and say, here you are, opponent. We have a turn the earth up, so that's not what's the card? Past in Flames isn't a great draw. They've only got 2 cards in hand. You know, we might even just see a level up of this, of the artist talent this turn. Oh, they can still cast that one. Okay. Like, one thing I could consider with the Turn the Earths is just like put the Rouse back in their deck to make them bad draws, but I think that's a little bit cheeky. I think I might just rather hold it up. So now we have a flipped Legend of Roku. We have the Avatar. We obviously have enough mana to start making 4/4s. Utopia Sprawl is also nice for getting around things like Blood Moon, because it doesn't stop the Utopia Sprawl from making some mana. So this is a 1/3. So all of these can attack. Let's just put more lands into play then. That bolt would have been nice. So this is one thing that you do have to watch out for in this deck is you go through a lot of your deck really fast. And I'm pretty much at the point where I don't really need to keep on making land drops anymore. I have so much mana, and like I'm not doing the recurring thing. So at this point, with only 14 cards left, although I should pretty much have my opponent dead next turn, I think, because I'll make a dragon on end step. So that's 4 in the air. They'll probably block the Avatar. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So if my opponent can't win this turn, then we should win. Really surprised to see the Blood Moon main. Not overly surprised to see it in the deck, but okay, so Pyretic. You know, are they just trying to flip the Ral to do something? But so they did draw discard. We've got Ren's Resolve. So this Past in Flames in Exile they cannot cast. They no longer have the artist talent doing anything. Let's see what they hit. They hit a Wish and a Desperate Ritual. Okay, so the Desperate Ritual goes. I mean, we did say our opponent had to win this turn, and they might. The Wish is really a big hit for them. You know, I don't know exactly what they're going to wish for. You know, is it another Past in Flames? But then I can get rid of the rituals so they can't make a bunch of mana. And then all they have to do is, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'd have to think about what I might want to do. Sorry, I have to read the thing. Okay, so all of their mana, not all of their mana. I mean, do they have the, like, Storm Dragon? So they're casting Past in Flames. So if they're casting Past in Flames, I think I want to turn the Earth targeting Desperate Ritual and Pyretic Ritual. And is there anything else? The Reckless Impulse? Because it's their stuff that makes mana and draws more cards. They have one Ren's Resolve left. I mean, maybe I should have just taken the draws more cards cards. So now they get Ren's Resolve. They get one Ren's Resolve. So yeah, I should have left the mana and instead gotten rid of all the cards that draw. So they're just trying to flip the Ral. Because any flip here probably wins. This is why Storm can be a gross deck. Because they had almost no resources, and then now they might just get to go off. You know, luckily if they, you know, like a grape shot doesn't kill me. Okay, Ral is in my court at the moment. Double land? That's rough. Their opponent hasn't played a land, but that doesn't really matter. So they can play Sunbaked Canyon and what, cast a wish that they won't be able to use just to try to get one more flip. Yep. So this is it. This coin flip is the game. Ral's in our court, baby. I mean, unless they have a 0 mana thing to cast. Yep. Okay. All right. Hello, Damping Spheres. Hello, Endurance. Hello, Soul Guide Lantern. I think I can take out the Unholy Heats. Let's sort by mana value. I'm not really worried about. I mean, I guess I could consider Force of Vigor because it can take out Artist Talent, which is something. I already have the Haywire Mites as something that can do that. I think I can actually take out one Emrakul because, like, it was gonna be a interesting matchup to try to do that in, and like I could maybe then go down a Legend of Roku and also have the Force of Vigors. They don't cast anything for free unless it is off a flipped Ral, and if they flipped Ral, like, I'm just gonna lose probably. So is there any reason to bring in a Vexing Bauble over, say, something like a Haywire Mite? I think I'm gonna say no. And if we lose to a flipped Ral, maybe I'll change my opinion. Well, we're keeping a Damping Sphere. That's what we're doing. We're keeping a Damping Sphere. Keep. Yield. They probably do have some amount of, what's their called in. And the problem here of being on the draw is our Damping Sphere comes down after their reducer turn. And it is very much possible just to lose on turn 2 here. They can go land Ritual into Ral and then just go off. So we'll see what they got. But that's Storm. You sometimes just lose on the after taking one turn. So Best thing for me here is they just play a reducer. Like that. Bueno. Play this thing. And we say, okay. That's what we got. We won't fully let them know that we don't have anything to do. Often what they do now, if they don't have a prismatic ending, is they might just try to cast like a spell a turn and see if they can flip Ral and just get value out of him that way. And that's okay. We're going to like Icetill next turn. And then we can maybe start being on the Ghost Quarter plan just to take our opponent out of all their lands, which is like really going to double down with the Damping Sphere here. I could see maybe going up to one more Damping Sphere in this deck. I don't know. Okay, not white mana. So they're glimpsing, which will make some extra mana for next turn. Ral's still in our court. So they exile the top three. They hit Ritual, Land, Ritual. None of which they can cast, because the Damping Sphere makes the second spell added the mana back from Ral. So we're just going to yield to the end step. Yep, they should start attacking. Yep, they're going to make some spawns. But they no longer have access to these cards. Well, they get to put them in the graveyard. So this is a way to fight against the Damping Sphere, because now they can cast a couple of spells in a turn, but I think I am going to say no to that Explore. I have 2 Icetills in my hand. So we're going to go Ghost Quarter. I do have to remember that it also affects me, the Damping Sphere, so okay, there's another Icetill. So nothing else to do this turn, so we will just pass. And then we'll wait till the end step. And we'll just see what our opponent can do. Gosh, I didn't realize our opponent had used so much of their time already. Like, I've used 10 minutes, but... Okay, so wish for prismatic ending. Which will now cost still 2 mana. Ral and Damon's here at this point are 1 for 1. But next turn I can destroy 3 lands. They usually don't run anything more than 2 or 3 basics, I think. They've got to use the mountain, because they have to have multiple colors. They only cast it with 1 color. I don't think they're doing what they think they're doing. Because prismatic ending is not the amount of mana, it's the number of colors spent. It is not the total mana, it's the number of colors. So that is an unfortunate error on their part. Prismatic ending is kind of a weird card in that way. Explore might have been okay, but... Because now that we get to start doing this... there is a reason to play the Shifting Woodland now. So they do have 3 basics. So I could get the Shifting Woodland into play because then I can just Emrakul them next turn. So I'm going to play the Shifting Woodland here. We'll see how many basics they've got. So they still have more. But my Damping Sphere is still in play, so... It is a very rough error on our opponent's part with that Prismatic ending last turn, but there are other things like, you think of anything like Engineered Explosives. I'm forgetting what the naming convention is for Engineered Explosives, but for that ability, but a lot of those are, like, oh, you have to pay a bunch of things, but it's like, oh, it's equal to the number of mana, or you have to pay colors, but it's equal to the number of this thing, where a Prismatic ending is the number of colors spent, not the total mana. I'm trying to think if there's another card that I know that works exactly the way the opponent played it, and that's not going to be the same thing. So they are going to destroy our Damping Sphere. We can just yield through the turn. Once again, unless our opponent beats us right now, which they're on the good start there. That's spell number 3. If they don't beat us this turn, they're dead. Because we're going to use our Shifting Woodland to copy Emrakul and fly for 13. Okay. Do they have plenty of mana? Do they have... They have a Past in Flames, so very likely we lose here. Because the odds of them not flipping this Ral are real small. Because then they can wish, they can find stuff. They're just going to cast a whole lot of spells. So, this Force of Vigor doesn't feel very good now. I'm just going to wait until they show us the win con. Kind of confused as to why they're doing some of this stuff. Like, you should just be just casting whatever spells you have access to. So cast all this Pyretic Ritual, this Desperate Ritual, just cast, like, fast, because you have access to wishes and mana, and then you should just be able to get up to this point, cast the other ritual, cast the wish, get your Grape Shot, kill me. Like, I don't know why you're bothering with, like, oh, cast this one here, cast this one there. Like, just cast Wish, get Grape Shot, right? I feel like our opponent is kind of doing more than they have to. Like, now are you just storming off for storm's sake just to see how many spells you can cast? Yep, there we go. Okay. All right. I'm less worried about the Force of Vigors. You know, we could bring in this, the Bauble. You know, I guess a Brotherhood's End is an answer to both a Ral and a Ruby Medallion, and can take out a bunch of things. So we'll try a cheeky one of Brotherhood's End as well. We'll see. I would like to play first, though. A bunch of Graveyard Hate, Explore, Utopia Sprawl, but like nothing really to work towards, so I'm gonna send that one back. This one looks a lot better. Put back Big Mama. So we're going to get a Stomping Ground, and then we're going to put the Utopia Sprawl on it on green. Because then even say if we get Blood Moon, we still have access to red, we still have access to green. Done. They are striking it rich. Now we kind of really just need a land off the top. We draw a land, we're doing stuff. We did not draw a land. Oh, I can't. A Soul Guide Lantern. Yeah. Unfortunately, the deck with lots of land sources needs to draw them in order to do its stuff. So, there we are. Okay, 2 Ruby Medallions does kind of fight a Damping Sphere decently well. I will give you that. Once again, a land is a very good draw. Okay, 3 reducers is even better, I guess. Oh, come on. Um, I mean, maybe I should have picked red so I can make double. Cast the Seasoned Pyromancer, get rid of these 2 cards in my hand, but I don't know. Opponent has correctly cast Prismatic Ending this time. They're doing the secret mode in Storm where they attack. Alright, well, let's start here. One, two, three, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Thinking that I'm actually kind of eerily close to Emrakul now. Soul Guide Lantern is at the moment protecting me from a Past in Flames, which is good. Manamorphose second Ral. Alright. Opponent also only has 3.5 minutes left. Okay, another Manamorphose. Okay. Cast another Ral. I transform him again. They're going to look at 8 more cards. They're just going to get to a point where they can just use the wish to get a grape shot and kill me anyway. Ugh. I only need to cast one more spell, and they have plenty of mana, so it doesn't matter. Now they just cast Wish, they get Grape Shot, and they kill me. Oh, this is frustrating. It's again, opponent, you're doing too much now. I hope they time out just because they're goofing off. Okay. Sure. Oh, that was annoying. Yep, that's it. That's Storm. Alright, get to be on the play again. Rumble, Icetill, Emrakul. This is a turn 3 Icetill. I mean, not a whole ton else going on, but it's kind of like the thing the deck's trying to do, so. Okay, nothing from our opponent's good for us. I do like having a follow-up. Excuse me. Let's take the Utopia Sprawl. Quarry Mountain Monastery. Not normally a play in like Boros Energy. Price of Freedom. Yes, we will. Yeah, we can just get a mountain here. So this is then the land destruction deck, which is really just fine with us. So if I play the Utopia Sprawl, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're still good. I do have to make sure I choose green. Choose green. So I get one more land drop, so I'll probably just play the commercial district. Does this mean our opponent's considering a Solitude? So the other legend is gone. We will keep another Icetill on top. So this is a good reason to put the Utopia Sprawl on a basic, is stuff like Field of Ruin. Also our Icetill. Second Icetill doesn't get to do anything, but makes me think they have like a Path to Exile or something. Now they're gonna do it. Okay. So yeah, let's go get some lands. So let's see. We're at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're not quite there, but we could be close. Let's start with a Rumble. I guess I just want the other Icetill here. Yeah. So I've already made a land drop, correct? I believe so. So we'll just keep on getting surveils. Okay. So we've got Solitude. I'm pretty sure, unless they have some sort of graveyard hate here, we should be just Emrakuling next turn. Yeah, this is what? 5 types? Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so Wrath for X is 1. This make things... they just can't catch a break. Well, if I go 2 more land drops, I get to play this legend. Okay, so now they see an Emrakul. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8. Yep, an Emrakul just being revealed does it. So this deck on the other side does like to play, what's it called? Gosh, blanking on words. Likes to play the card that I'm thinking of, which is called Rest in Peace, Graveyard Hate. I don't think they have anything else like enchantment-y, so I don't think I want to bring in the Force of Vigors. I'll rely on the Haywire Mites, I think. But they do also generally run Flage, so I do like the Endurance and maybe the Soul Guide Lantern. So I think maybe the bolts aren't fantastic. There's Solitude, Flage, usually the White Orchid Phantom. I don't really care that much about the Vexing Bauble. I don't think the Damping Spheres matter. Fire Magic, not really. Brotherhood's End, they don't put that many things into play. I don't really want to rely on Charmaw. Meltdown's not it. Force of Vigor, no. So I think we'll just run this and we'll see how it goes. This hand's fine. Luckily, knowing that our opponent is not on like a deck that's fast out of the gates, we don't have to worry too much about like the fact that our hand isn't very fast. So Beseiju is also another good answer to that potential Rest in Peace. Which doesn't look like it's here. I have a lot of lands, so another Explorer's fine. So if I rumble this turn, I don't get to do a second spell. So I'm really just setting up to be able to do multiple spells next turn. So we'll just go explore right now. Do I want to play the Haywire Mite? No, I just want to. I want to have it. If they do play something like Rest in Peace, then I can actually pop it. Where if I play the Haywire Mite, they might just decide to like destroy it somehow, and then I don't have it to do the enchantment thing. Words are hard. Words are quite hard. So if we go land, play Rumble, let's grab the Icetill. I say, okay. I can't play the Icetill this turn. So do I want to explore? I mean, I could explore and just put in the Beseiju. So, yeah. Let's go from there. So we're already at 5 types. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're only 2 away from... Yep. So they're attacking my red mana now. Okay, so what is this representing having up? Just like double removal spell? This would be nice to have a land already in play. Because most likely what's going to happen is if I play my Icetill, or a land I could already play is what I mean. If I play my Icetill, I only get one land drop out of it, but maybe that's just good enough. So if I use 4 mana and play a tapped land, I don't have access to a tapped land anymore. Or an untapped one, so I couldn't do something like play Endurance, potentially. We're going to start here. I don't want to use the spawn, because the spawn is a one-time use mana, where I obviously get to use my lands every turn, so, you know. Yep. We'll just spin the turn the earth here. I don't think I want to do anything else. Instant land, sorcery, planeswalker. Was I only at 3 before? Was I just reading the number wrong? It's really tiny down here, so. Flashback on the Cleansing Wildfire. Yeah, that's fine. I am out of basics now. Oh, I should have used the turn the earth. Oh man. Well, we can do this for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I am one source away from Emrakul. Well, Utopia Sprawl is just a freewheel here. Oh, opponent is just upset that I find my Icetills in my Icetill Explorer deck. We'll just put a land on top. We are now at 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They also have a Legend of Roku. Cleansing Wildfire, Rest in Peace, Wrath of God. The Rest in Peace is very well timed, unfortunately. Add 1 mana of any color. Well, we're just going to add a green. We'll go green. Okay. Here's this guy. We're going to go this. We're gonna Season Pyromancer is pretty good. So I can use the Ghost Quarter. So if I use the Ghost Quarter, they get a land. It comes on untapped. I have priority again to get the Ghost Quarter back. So is that what I want to do? Do I care about destroying their lands? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This isn't ramping me any. But I guess we just get to take away like a resource here. Surprised they didn't use the erode. Or maybe that's the stuff. It's hard to know what stuff is from their legend versus is from something else. But all of their legend cards are gone now, so. Boop. Boop. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, we'll attack. We will take control of their next turn. All right. This is what? Protection from instants. Yep. They get rid of my Avatar Roku. Okay. So what they're doing right now is they're just trying to get rid of as many spells as they can out of their hand so I don't have resources to use against them. Okay. They've successfully answered Emrakul. Okay. We will flip this. We will destroy all creatures. And then we're going to cast this for nothing. And then we'll just pass through the turn. And we'll go from there. So I've got one Icetill left. Got this Endurance. I have another Emrakul. I have another... It's a good one. Sprawl. I'll just tap the Beseiju. I'm gonna go a red this time. Grab Shifting Woodland. Let's see. Commercial District. There's one there. Looks like I should still have one. So we'll play this. And pass. Our opponent has that Quarry Mountain Monastery, and then now one other card. I do have to watch. I have 19 cards left in my library. Okay. Fleege. Our opponent has made a very critical error. I now have a very critical error. I don't have double green to cast this Endurance. So they, by stacking their triggers for Flage the way they did, they gave me an opportunity to use Endurance, but I just don't happen to have anything to use it on, so... Luckily for me, I just have this Unholy Heat. And then I'll just cast my Endurance during my turn here. We'll target the Icetill. Just gonna get some of my lands back. Let's see how many basics they have. Okay. All right, we've reached the end of the basics. I'm not even going to cast this one. So I should be able to take my opponent off of red mana at this point. Okay. Question is, Do I do anything else? I don't think so. I still have the Shifting Woodland. So if they attack with Solitude, I can block. Do I want to copy anything and then have it die? So what I can do is I can copy the Soul Guide Lantern. I wonder if this just doesn't work anymore. I'm not sure, but I don't want to take the risk and not draw this card if that was like kind of the whole point, you know? I still have a second Emrakul somewhere. So, um, well, the nice thing here is the endurance kind of holds off both of these. Can I kind of like keep on drawing with the Soul Guide Lantern at this point? I don't think I need to. Boop. Boop. Okay. I do have to think about the time on my clock if this goes to a game 3. They're both going at Ren. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have a land for 13. I'm not going to block. I'm just going to use this over a few turns to get there. Plus that. Turn the Barbarian Ring. Play Barbarian Ring. Kill this Solitude. Kill that Solitude. Nope. Wild Speaker, it's another good one. But let's get back our Barbarian Ring. Doop. Play it. Kill this thing. There she is. There we go. I think they had to find like a Wrath of God to get there. But, alright, on the board, on the other side. Oops, I've had the record wrong this whole time. I put the 1 in the wrong spot. Sorry about that. But that one was at least nice for me to see, like, okay, yeah, this is kind of how the deck is supposed to run. You know, you just keep on recurring these lands, keep on recurring these lands. I did win with 4 cards left in my library, so that's one thing I have to watch out for. And this was game 2. Right? Yeah, that was 2 games, and I have 5 minutes left on my clock. So I do need to be somewhat cognizant of that in these matches that do run long. This game, from our opponent's perspective, is actually, or this match, is actually something I've been thinking about a lot. And just sometimes you have to be okay with having bad matchups. And, you know, this deck that I'm running is not something anybody's going to plan to run into. But so our opponent's running a land destruction deck, and we're a deck that can just keep on recurring our lands. So, like, it has to be frustrating on the other side, because that's kind of like their whole thing is doing that, is taking away my lands. And so it's like, well, I can't play spells. And I'm just like, oh, I'll just keep on getting them back. And, yeah, I drew a lot of Icetills, but also your decks, all of our decks are kind of built to get to the cards that are good, so you have to expect that the Icetill deck is going to, at some point, find Icetills. So, a little bit tough, but, not the greatest matchup on our opponent's side. But, so that can be frustrating, certainly from their perspective. So, but good to get on the board there. Well, dice have been in our favor so far. Once again, not a very interactive hand, but we get to do a thing quickly. Oh, we have a Gemstone Caverns, okay. With a Scalding Tarn being exiled on the other side. So what does main deck Gemstone Caverns mean? Okay. Storm. Again. Well, we put up a bit of a fight the first time, but I don't think I would consider this a strong matchup. Is it better to explore or rumble? Explore or rumble? Well, let's explore while we have the lands to play. Gets us our other surveil. I should have rumbled, because I might have had access to 2 extra mana next turn than if I did. No, it's 6 of one, half of the other. Never mind. I was thinking, I'd have the spawn, but I got to put an extra land into play, so different. I don't want to yield through this turn. I want to yield until the end step. Turn off auto yields. Yield until the end step. Manamorphose Tarn. I mean, at least they don't have Ral. Geez, they're just already going off. Valakut Awakening, Manamorphose. They haven't even played a land yet. No. Oh, yep, haven't played a land yet. Forgot we were on the play, but we're on the draw. They could play this Ral too. Woof. Woof, woof, woof. They're just going to grape shot us down to 9. So, notably, this is a main deck grape shot version of Storm. So, something to think about. And it was like my only out this game. I'll keep that for the Ral. They should be able to. Yeah. So they can cast Ral next turn if they want. My hope is kind of that they just don't have much going on. I thought of, I could Beseiju the Ruby Medallion, but they have a Ral and a Ruby Medallion here, so I don't think I'm winning that way. Very likely. So We wait for them to cast this spell in response to the thing, so they can't flip it. We'll get our mountain. Anybody else just randomly have like Halo music start playing in their head at just times of day? Just me? Oh, all right. So they could play the other Ruby medallion if they want. They could, I don't know, whatever they got in their hand. So they do play the other Ruby medallion. Let's start by rumbling. Well, let's grab the Ghost Quarter. Play said Ghost Quarter. Oh, it also found a Turn the Earth. So that's one land drop. To bring the Ghost Quarter back. Let's start attacking these things. Okay, so they have another one. Get the Ghost Quarter back. There's a Renin 6. Let's attack. And then we can pass. Well, we'll let them surveil. Okay, we have reached the end of our opponent's lands. Boo, Ral. Boo. Okay. Pyretic Ritual. Okay, so it's a fast flip. Because now he's harder to get rid of. Ooh, okay, no mana is good. Okay. Oh, all right. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I get 2 land drops, 12, 13. There's a land drop. Here's a land drop. I'm going to attack the Ral. And then... Alright. Oh, okay, that's apparently enough. Cool, cool, cool. Well, Emrakul helps us out. So last time we took out the Unholy Heats, I still like that. We do want to find the Damping Spheres. Once again, we get a choice of, is there some merit to a Force of Vigor and or Vexing Bauble? I don't feel like all of these cards are great. But I mean, maybe I made a mistake last time and I just took out my top end, so I just didn't have anything to build to. Like, is there a world where we're thinking that matters? Like, maybe the season Pyromancers come out for like 1 bauble, 1 force. Let's try it that way. Let's see if we don't take away the top end, if we just have something to like build to there. Because just getting to cast Emrakul there was great. You know, obviously we don't know what card they have in their hand. But I guess I could -2 RAL so they lose the RAL, and then they just have to top deck something, because if they have a card in hand that does something, then I can just like just get them out of resources, so they're just top decking. So, I guess for them that was enough. But then even the next attack wasn't lethal. They had 16 life and I had 15 power, so I don't know. Some people just don't want to deal with it, I guess, and that's okay. This we'll keep lands on top right now because I got both my legends in my hand. Boop. So they are. Whoa. Okay. Ghost Arid Mesa for a second. Okay. Not having a reducer right away is good for me. So let's start here. Play this. Now we can yield. I guess I don't necessarily want to take down the Turn the Earth. Okay, Manamorphose. They'll probably then go into the Pyretic Ritual, into the Reckless Impulse, and see what they can do from there, but our opponent playing the non-reduced. Well, never mind. There's a reducer. Okay. I mean, now they get to Impulse. Desperate Ritual and a Past in Flames. They get to go Desperate Ritual. Can I get rid of all of their extra mana? No, I cannot. So they've gone Past in Flames. We'll let them try to resolve that. If they flip the RAL, it just might not matter. So Stomping Ground, yes. I do want to take out the Manamorphose. If I just take out the 2 Reckless Impulses, they have to have 1 good card in their hand, don't they? So I'm going to do it that way. Now, they might just recast the 2 rituals, hoping to flip the RAL, and then if they flip the RAL, it's probably game over, because that's what flipped RAL does. But maybe RAL will be in our favor again. There's 1 in our favor. Come on, buddy. 2 in our favor. He was only good for 66%. Let's see. They've got a bunch of mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they got it. They got it. That's enough. I've counted enough cards. Okay. Well, we thought for a second we were in an okay spot. It turned out we were not in said okay spot. Like, I don't know, RAL is such a good end game for them. Like, does it make sense to bring in some more of the Vexing Baubles? Maybe just like 1? All right, some people are going to call me crazy for this. In this one of fun spot where this wild speaker is right now, hear me out. I've thought of Nissa Vastwood Seer, the Magic Origins flip planeswalker. It's like 3 mana for a 2/2, goes and gets a basic forest. You put it into your hand, and then whenever a land enters, if you have 8 or more lands, it flips into a planeswalker that like +1s. You look at the top card. If it's a land, you put it into play. If not, you draw it, or just put it in your hand. You don't technically draw it, for Bowmaster stuff and whatnot. I am going to keep this. it can minus to create a 4/4 and then like a -6 or something like that. You turn like 6 lands into 6/6s. It's probably not very good, but I really love that card, so like kind of makes me want to. All right, so drawing the other Rumble makes me feel like, so I could like Wrenn and 6, get back the land, play the fetch land, get another land, play the Vexing Bauble, but like the Vexing Bauble doesn't do much right yet. I could also Rumble, but I don't have anything. Maybe Rumble is the best idea, so I can Rumble into something. Let's do that. Well, we'll go for the Legend of Roku, at least as something we're working toward. You know, I am gonna have to find another red source. So we might not be able to play the Legend next turn unless we draw a land. I might have to play the Wrenn and 6 and get back that fetch. But then I could also play the other Rumble next turn. So I could Wrenn and 6, grab the fetch, fetch again, play Rumble, and then be set up to Roku next turn. Okay, they're doing the Ral thing. I don't think they're going to try to destroy my Vexing Bauble, so... Actually, I need to run upstairs really quickly. Okay, sorry, we're back. So I found the other land. I still think I kind of want a Wrenn and 6. Ooh, no, actually, do I have the ability to cast the Legend and a Bolt? No, I do not. So really nice to find a Damping Sphere here. I don't. I just find a Forest. I should have also thought a little bit more about using the Force of Vigor on the Artist talent. But Flashback the ritual. Yeah. I'm just going to get some clock equity and just yield through the turn. I kind of want to find a different spot to put this. Just because the little preview window's in the way of me seeing what's most recent in the game log sometimes. Oh, okay. I think realizing that they can't flip the RAL and do anything was enough. So, all right, I'll take the win against Storm. I'll take it. I don't feel like wasn't doing anything sideboardy. I was just kind of playing my game, but I won't say no. All right, here we hit the draw. Let's just not have any more Storm this league for some variety. I don't love having Emrakul in the opening hand, just because like we're so far away from it. But the rest of this hand is fine. So, you know, take away the Emrakul, would I be happy with that 6? Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'd like to move this, but I'm not really sure where to put it. Like, I don't want to make it much smaller, because then it's not, like, it's barely bigger than the cards are right now anyway. And maybe that's just things saying, hey, okay, it doesn't really matter. Well, Tron, eh? I mean, I guess theoretically we should have an okay-ish Tron matchup, because we have Ghost Quarters that we can recur. However, we do have to find them, and it looks like we might just get turn 3 Tron'd here. That won't do us any good. That doesn't do us much good. Do I Rumble or do I Ren? Rumble allows me to play some of my better cards next turn. Is the best way to potentially find a Ghost Quarter. We do find a Ghost Quarter. So we give them 1 turn of Tron. We'll see what they have. We've already got 5 card types. So our Unholy Heat can like kill a Planeswalker or some big creature. Oh, Fleshraker build, eh? Okay. Karn. They do have a Devourer, okay. Say no to Ugin Map Temple. Miss the Devourer. What are they going for? Tormod Script, okay. Well. I can go Utopia Sprawl onto this. I can name red, which would then allow me to go have 2 red mana. We'll use 1 to kill the Fleshraker. One to kill the Karn. Interesting. They did it with that timing. And then I'm always a tower guy. I'm gonna let's kill the tower believer. The swamp, eh? Got a Swamptron gamer. Which is usually a signal that, not surprisingly, they have Dismember somewhere in their list. And since they used the crypt, I don't know why they used the crypt when they did. I mean, maybe they just saw the bolt and said, oh, it's another unholy heat, I'll save my Karn, and then, like, realized it was bolt. But okay. We had a little bit of a delay. I'm going to pick the Ghost Quarter back up. Opponent is paying a cost. So this is just Kozilek's command. And they're getting rid of both of those and creating spawns. I guess okay. I haven't played a land yet for turn, so I can go like Wooded Foothills into... I'm just going to grab another Stomping Ground. Don't really need a second Wrenn and 6, but... Now we are on mission, find another Ghost Quarter. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another K command. This time they're just scry draw. Interestingly enough, every time you just cycle a Kozilek's command, you just get one more than last time. I mean, if I want to take out 2 of these spawns next turn, I could. I could, like, downtick the Wrenn that I have, play a new Wrenn, and, like, kill another one, which kind of keeps their mana under somewhat a little bit of control. They're really thinking about this Scry 4 draw 1. So, you know, maybe it's a matter of like, okay, what do I want in hand now? How do I want to order this stuff? So, see, this is an example of what I'm talking about here. In order to see what they scry, I have to move this. I mean, and maybe it's just that it's not that much bigger than the cards are, but like I can't put it over here. Oh, now they're gonna see my Emrakul. Emrakul's gone. Boo. So even if I go down tick, I could go down tick, ping, play the new one, ping, unholy heat. Well, that seems like the thing to do, because it's about the only play I have. This one makes red. I have to remember that. I want to keep this one. This one down ticks, and then we will go Blowy, draw a new card. We have turned the earth. Don't know if that means anything for us. So the scry for 2 top, 2 bottom. So like that's the only thing here. So I don't know. Maybe people need to tell me if the preview window is worthwhile or not. I don't want to turn the earth, so I don't like. So let's see. Let's say they have Promise End. They have creature, kindred, instant, land, planeswalker, artifact. So they've got 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they're so close or so far away from casting it. Well, bummer. He's gonna get like liquid metal coating. Try to start just taking away. Oh, let's get an expedition map. Okay. Okay. Another map to activate Tron. I hear you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go for this. The expedition map as we know about it. They go and get an Urza's Tower. They will then have access to 5 manas. They'll probably downtick their Karn again and then play that thing, would be my guess. And they got a Relic. Okay. They play Fleshraker into Relic. The question is, will they pop said Relic? They do not. So, like, this is one of the problems with turn leaders. It just does nothing if you don't care about the graveyard. I will keep that. It lets me kill the Fleshraker, and I can kill the Karn with my board. That's here. Pow. Pow. All the Karns. Three damage to a creature or planeswalker. Ren and 6 gone. Thank you. And I'm still 2 mana away. From Emrakul, so that doesn't matter. Alright, we're just looking for a sweet draw off the top. Not even 100% sure what would be the best draw. Like the relic kind of. Gosh, discarding. I guess I could put them back in, so that's not terrible. Okay. So I want to keep the turn the earth up. For if they go to pop the relic, I can shuffle the Emrakul back into my deck. Alright, Sire of Seven Deaths. It is here. First strike, Vigilance, Menace, Trample. All the things. Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Spyro. Alright, so we have to find something right now or we die. Okay, so let's turn the earth. I'm going to target my Seasoned Pyromancer, my Emrakul, and I guess I don't know if a Holy Heat really does it. I can't kill the Sire anymore, so I guess the Wren. Green sack. I don't cast anything for free. I don't care. Interesting. Doop. Red, red. Ouchie. Yeah, I really still don't know what I can draw to do this in any way. That is a something. Doop. I mean, they still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They'll have 7 mana. You know, it's kind of. Point is a little bit moot. So the Hayworm right here is actually like doing a decent job. It kind of forces them just to attack with the Sire, and then like I can block with a bunch of stuff. Mostly just to make sure I survive. Okay. I mean, this doesn't look good for me here. Let's go to 1. So was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. Force of Vigor is probably good. Damping Spheres, good. These Turn the Earths, very bad. Charmas are going to be good. I've got to take out 4 things. Gosh, there's a lot of planeswalkers there that are making things tough for me. I mean, do I just go down the seasoned pyromancers and like a bolt? I guess it would have to be like 1 bolt, 1 heat, maybe. You just try to win through all this other stuff. I think I'm just gonna say down 2 bolts. We'll just have the heats. So you've got flesh rakers and all these big things, but it's not like I can just try to kill all the big stuff. I've got to try to be fast. I will keep this double ghost quarter hand, though. Yippee. Devour reveals. I will... pick green, and we'll yield through the turn. See what they say no to. Now I can move that a little bit so y'all can see it. K-Command Fleshraker Lab. Alright. That's another good option. Play the Damping Sphere. We'll do this. Notably, Damping Sphere doesn't stop Utopia Sprawl. It is a very strange card in that Damping Sphere seems like it would, but like because the way Utopia Sprawl is worded is whenever this land is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana of the chosen color. It's not making the land tap for 2 mana. It's just saying, hey, do this thing. Oh, this guy. Ghost Quarter. So they have a waste and a swamp at least. They do have 4 mana. Thought-Knot Seer? Oh, okay, command. That's fine. Because luckily for me, I have another Ghost Quarter. This is the kind of thing that you get mad at when it happens on the other side. You know? I get it. It sucks. Do I want it on the same land or on a different land? I'll put it on a different one. This one I'll just also choose green. Green is always good. Oh, yeah, the Damping Sphere. So the question is, do I want to do any more ghost quartering here? Actually, oh no, I can't take them off a K command because of the tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they would be able to K command my Icetill here. But there's 1 in exile from the Devourer, 1 here. Oh yeah, the Devourer. Well, we just gotta draw something. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ugh. Ugh. Well, we might just get Troned, folks. We might just be getting Troned. which feels bad. Like, I feel like in theory, this deck should be good against Tron. No, okay, well, we can go bing, bada boom, which gives me 4 types in the yard. Draw a card, that's fine. If there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, because I have the damping sphere as well, like, the ghost quarter isn't as big of a deal here, because, like, oh, quit taking Big Mama out of my hand. I mean, I'm super far away from it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm still 2 mana away. Need like a rumble or something. Oh, that's a pretty good one. Whee. Come on, Icetill. You can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Before they take away our graveyard, let's do some stuff. Oh, Charmaw. So interestingly enough here, there's no reason to get the Surveil land. Okay. Well, we at least have something happening. But like, this is the thing with all of the stuff that hates out Tron, is they just get to the point where they still have a bunch of lands. And, you know, now they've got 4 mana cards and flexible casting cards and cards that set you up early. Like, Tron back in the day used to just be, if they didn't have 7 mana, they like were just spinning their wheels because they had to play Sylvan Scrying and they had to play Chromatic Sphere and Chromatic Star. And so it was just like, oh, okay, like there's just a bunch of air and you have to find your stuff. And really this is a thing that I feel like is just happening in like all of modern, is decks don't have air anymore. Oh my good gravy. Oh, you have another follow-up, another Thought Not Seer, so I'm just dead next turn? That's nice of you. Ugh. I guess we'll just get rid of a thing. Do I not have 2 of any type? Planeswalker, creature, instant creature, artifact, land, sorcery, creature. Okay. So what I was saying is that like there aren't decks don't have air anymore. Like the thing that used to make Tron, I guess, bearable. I mean, nobody's ever liked Tron, have we? Was that this still doesn't save me, unfortunately. So like I said, Tron used to have stars and Sylvan Scrying and just had to like try to dig. And then they had some top end, but like if you could keep them off of it, like they just didn't ever get there. Living End is another example of a deck that was like this. And it is used to be that like, well, they just didn't do anything. Well, actually, Living End used to just, like, all they could do was just cycle their card. Okay, hope to find a Cascader, right? And now, every way that they have to put something into the graveyard is doing something else. They're evoking endurance so that they're, making it so you don't get anything out of Living End. They are using wistfulness to draw cards or destroy your hate piece or, these types of things. And so there's no longer air in the deck. Every card is doing something at the same time. So there isn't really any more of like, okay, well, I just have to be able to stop this thing. So you have to stop the onslaught of everything, but they don't have to play the game in the same way that every other deck does, in that, like, oh, I have to worry about interacting with you or, stopping your aggressive start because they just go so big over the top. And so this is a thing that has been happening in decks now that make it so that, like, modern is harder than it used to be, because there used to be, like, decks that were difficult to deal with, attacked you from an angle that wasn't just a traditional I put creatures on the battlefield and go mode. And take Tron, take Living End as great examples of these. But the turnaround in the match is that they played a lot of cards that just also did nothing. So you could disrupt them with the right removal, and it was harder to fight through it. Well, now Tron, for instance, just doesn't have to worry about if they don't have all of the mana. Okay, if my Tron lands aren't making excess mana, all right, fine. I'll just still cast Karn at 4, Thought-Knot Seer, Glaring Fleshraker. Like, they've gotten a bunch of cards that are just cheaper, and so they just cast them on regular sorts of curves. I've already talked about the cards in Living End, where now it's, you almost have 0 of just the I cycle it to put it in my graveyard and draw the next card. It's now all of these cards do something on their way to the graveyard. So I'm interacting, I'm sculpting my hand, I'm doing things proactively on my way to my single action win the game mode. And so in order to fight that, you have to then raise up the power of fair cards, and we then see what happens in, like, Boros Energy, which is all of those fair cards are so strong that the other fair decks don't have a chance. It's the problem I've been having with my Izzet control builds. I just can't figure out something that seems to work, even though it's like, yeah, look, it's got good card this, good card that. These are strong, but it's just, it's why one of the main play patterns you see of even still the play to the battlefield fair decks is like, well, I'm going to use Felia and Ephemerate and Consign to get my Quantum Riddler into play for on turn 3. So I have a 2-mana 4/6 that replenished my hand and now is just good to go. Instead of it having to be, you have to, the first mode as well, I just might draw an extra card, or I get to end up there. So it's something that makes these kinds of matchups way, way harder. And I seem to be in the phase of my Magic career where, like, I'm just willingly and knowingly playing decks that are kind of on the fringe of the power level that they need to be. Like, they can do the thing, but maybe they're not as consistent or whatever. And this deck, and for instance, I really like playing this deck. This deck is fun to me, but it has air. I'm playing Explore. That is not inherently a powerful Magic card that is doing multiple things on your way to a game plan. But here we are. And could I not play Explore and instead just have the Utopia Sprawls and the Rumbles as, like, my ramp ability? Yeah, and maybe I need to try that out and put in some other stuff. But, just thoughts and things. That's all. All right, we will be on the draw for our last one. See if we can bring this thing home. Definitely don't think I can keep this land. I can't play the Wrenn and 6. Double Ghost Quarter doesn't guarantee me like getting to any of these things, so I have to draw another land to cast literally any of my spells that aren't Explore. So I'm going to send this one back and give it another shot. This is a better hand, for sure. We're going to keep this. Do I keep 2 removal spells or do I keep a Haywire Might? Okay, and we are not going first. There we go. Plains. Just plains. Okay. We'll go Forest. Utopia Sprawl. Do I pick red or green? I think I'm going to pick red just because I have these red spells in my hand. Is this another one of the mono? So like, trying to think of how to sequence this, because if I want to play both Surveil lands, then it doesn't really work. Like, if I see something I want to keep with the first one, I think I'm just going to say no. All right. Okay, opponent plays a Field of Ruin. We'll Surveil. We'll see if they want to use the Field of Ruin since I... Pink. The Legend of Roku. Be fun to have a game where the Legend of Roku gets to shine. It's been kind of an interesting league of opponents, you know? Red. Like, we've had 2 Storm, we've had 2 of this white-red deck. So the Ghost Quarter is the one I can play this turn. So let's explore. Play the Mountain. We could then Rumble, I guess, just to keep it going. I'll take the Icetill Explorer. And yield through the turn. Down to 1 basic left in the deck right now. But the Icetill should allow us to be able to do some stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. God, there is a consideration for next turn. Just do nothing. Because then I can just make a 4/4 dragon. and like start taxing removal spells if they have them, you know? So they also can't take me off of access to 8 mana next turn, because even if they use both of their fields, the first one gets my last basic, the second one puts me down to 7 mana, but then I just play a land for the turn. Doesn't feel fantastic to not do that, just to hold up and make a dragon when, you know, like maybe that's the plan long term with the second legend. Because, you know, then I don't get to use the Seasoned Pyromancer. The Seasoned Pyromancer, you know, I could play Icetill and Seasoned Pyromancer in the same turn and, like, really do some stuff, you know? Okay, they're taking out my Ghost Quarter. All right, here's my forest. I do imagine that the opponent, our player can't cast spells this turn. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I couldn't cast spells this turn. That's fine. I put a 4/4 flying firebending 4 creature into play instead. This build does seem a little bit different. I don't think I've seen Orum's Chant. Yeah, they decided that, I guess they probably didn't have any removal spells and the legend was just going to start going off. Okay. We didn't really see much. I kind of know what sort of stuff is normally in the deck. So normally they play Flage, so that makes me want to bring in this. Maybe not the Endurance. Maybe I just want to bring in just this one. Maybe I just take out like a Lightning Bolt or something. What do I want to take out? What do I want to take out? I want to take out, yeah, I'll just take out a Bolt. They don't have that many creatures. I think I'm going to keep this hand. I like that one. Let's go Shifting Woodland. We'll play our Wren. Pick up the land. Say pass. Okay. Let's see here. Hold on, hold on. We're gonna do this first. Okay. I would like to use the ability. I will grab a forest. Thank you. Mountain, huh? Would have thought that they would have gotten a plains. Just because they don't have that mana yet. Okay. I have a Beseiju for that one, so that's fine. They have access to Cleansing Wildfire, White Orchid Phantom, and Discharge. Okay. So we're just going to get our other commercial district. Then we'll Beseiju their legend. We can just leave it on top. That's fine. We'll yield through the rest of their turn. Now I bet they get something. Huh. Untapped, eh? Untapped. What does that tell me? What does that tell me? Are they just wanting to use that discharge, maybe? So what I am going to do is I'm going to play a land first and then play my Icetill, so I do get my second land drop out of it no matter what, is the idea. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I get priority right away here, so I get to play my one land, but if they have like a removal spell for this, then I don't. I'm going to pick my Beseiju back up with Ren. Where if I played the Icetill first and they had a removal spell, I only get to make one land drop and not two. So, okay, so they just wanted to bank some energy. That's fine. Okay. So they're spending 2 cards here in my Ren and 6 that has gotten me immense value. That's fine. So they could like use a Field of Ruin to get rid of one of my lands and then cast their White Orchid Phantom, but I don't think they have the ability to do both of these. I would like to use the ability. Okay. Haywire Might. Okay, we will use the ability. Why did they use one from their hand and not the one that was exiled? That is a mistake on their part. These are not there forever. Okay, our own Legend of Oroku. I'm just going to bring my Shifting Woodland back because they keep on not wanting me to have that. And if they didn't want me to have Ghost Quarter, I'll bring that one back too. And then we're going to play this legend. And we'll see explore. So, oh, okay. That was enough. That was enough for them. All right, well, so, oh, just like one little side note here. I keep my MTGO collection matching my paper collection, and what that means is I don't actually own the cards. I use a rental service. But so the reason why you see a second copy of a deck here is the deck lists that I have saved here match the versions that I own in paper. So, such a prettier version of the deck. I have the really nice Legend of Rokus, the nice Seasoned Pyromancers. I would like they came out with an Explorer and I think like the Avatar set, like Commander stuff, that has some cool art from, Avatar stuff on there. So I wouldn't mind having those different ones, but these ones are pretty good. The fun Utopia Sprawls, which I was playing there, the nice Mystical Archive bolts, all that sort of stuff. But so anyway, so I always make an extra copy because when you rent, you don't know what versions you're getting. You're just getting what they have available at the moment. So sorry, side tangent, doesn't really matter. If you're still listening almost 3 hours in, congratulations, you get to listen to me just say whatever comes to mind. Weird matchup spread today. It was 2 Storm, 2 Boros Land Destruction, not the Boros deck you expect to run into, and Tron. So happy to 3-2. The deck did the thing that I was trying to get it to do, but I don't feel like the matchups I played against today were like overly telling of what I want to do, what I don't want to do, that sort of thing. Coming in, sorry if that was loud, I just hit the mic with my hand on accident. Coming into today, let's see. There were a few cards that I was a little bit iffy on. One of them is this Wild Speaker. So the Wild Speaker, the Turn the Earths were a little bit iffy, and the Charmaws were a little bit iffy. I guess I'm just not fully sure if I need something like Turn the Earth in this deck. The Wild Speaker was fine in that one, in the match we won against Storm. In the one game I just made, I think it was Storm. Oh no, it was against the first red-white opponent. Never mind. I just like made a few beasts, and so like, okay, yeah, that can be a thing, but like it doesn't dig you to anything else. Like the problem with a card like Garruk Wildspeaker is if you're already set up, it does really cool things. If you like already have Utopia Sprawl in play and you get to put it down, you get to make a ton of mana on consecutive turns, because it untaps those things. And now it's 1 land creates 4 mana this turn, which can help get you to Emrakul. But we never did that with it, and I think I might rather have something in that spot that creates some card advantage and lets me continue to dig. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Maybe it's a third season Pyromancer. Maybe I should try out just to get it out of my system. Like I said, that Origins Nissa Vastwood Seer, the flip one. Once again, another card that is like, well, does it really do anything for you if you're not already kind of set up? Because you need 8 lands in play for that time, which means I've had Explorers and Icetills going, so it's probably not the right call. I mentioned Chandra Torch of Defiance as an option. Maybe the answer is just another Legend of Roku. The one thing that scares me with the 2 Emrakuls in the deck is the more Legend of Rokus you put in, the more likely you are to flip an Emrakul off of the Legend of Roku, and you're not usually set up to cast it the next turn, and then you lose the chance, and Emrakul is kind of like the big win con. So, like, I'm a little bit hesitant to do that, but, that Chandra has the same sort of thing. One of its plus abilities is reveal the top card. You can either cast it or you deal 2 damage to your opponent. And so it's like, okay, that's not great. So some things there, not 100% sure. Instead of the Turn the Earth, I might just put another Endurance into the deck somewhere. Whether it's main or side, I'd be fine adding one of these. This felt fine. I didn't run into any of the matchups where I would want those. Force of Vigors, I think, are good to have. The Soul Guide Lantern is like, but if I get rid of the Turn the Earths, then I definitely have to keep this. This card just... You shuffle the cards back into their library, so it's not even on the bottom. It's like, well, okay, you might hit it. The biggest upside in this deck with the Turn the Earth is just the fact that it has flashback, so you can mill it with Rumble and Icetill, and like, okay, there you go. But so there's a handful of cards that I don't love, but I feel like the rest of this here, I really do feel like I would be happy with one more Damping Sphere, just with how not great the Storm matchup felt. But like, maybe I do want the Charmaws. Maybe I want to be able to like sideboard something like a Ragavan or something. That Tron matchup didn't really feel great. It felt like you had to just draw your Ghost Quarters early, often. And when you're using your Ghost Quarters early before you get Icetill online, it's really tough to get to something like Icetill, because if you have to use your Ghost Quarters, you don't have the mana source, and so you're hard to progress forward unless you are also ramping with like Explorers and Rumbles. But so usually we're looking to get a 4 mana play on turn 3 in this deck, and it's just tough. It's just tough. That's what I'll say there. So yeah. Some thoughts, but overall, I like the shell of the deck. I've done a ton of different tweaked and different iterations of the deck. It started out as a Jund deck, and then it became a black-green deck, and then it came back to being the original thought of a red-green deck, and I felt like this version has run the smoothest, mostly because going back to these cards is kind of the good thing. I would be fine testing without Explore. It does feel like the weakest link in the deck, in terms of like that plan. But I don't have an obvious, go to this, because only having 8 ways to get yourself to a point where you do have like a ramp spell just doesn't feel great, where when you add in the Explorers, that's 12. Now you're much more likely to get there. The thing I'd really like is I'd just like them to unban Deathrite Shaman, and then these 4 Explorers would very quickly become Deathrite Shamans, and we'd be golden. Just because there's enough times where you have Explore, but you don't have like another land to play in your hand, and so it's like, okay, it's not even doing the thing I want it to be able to do. So maybe, maybe it is something like play a mana creature in this spot. It's so much more susceptible to dying. At this point, I'm just kind of rambling. And so if this is interesting to you, then, I guess say, hey, just put out a video of you rambling about whatever's on your mind, and we'll do that. Thank you, folks, for watching. If you are not subscribed to the channel and you want to see more of our content, we do MTGO play, we do paper game play. It's called a podcast. We haven't put out an actual podcast episode in a long time, and I apologize for anybody who is wanting that. It is in the plan for it to still be a thing in the future. Just scheduling has gotten a lot harder for Drew and I, with changes in jobs and whatnot. So when we do get together, we're not necessarily just sitting together and waiting to record a podcast. We're still just friends in real life, and we want to catch up and things like that. So maybe I'll do like a solo podcast episode about stuff just when I have the time and I don't have to worry about scheduling, if that's something interesting. But so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff. You can like the video and comment and whatever. But just thanks for watching. If you've watched for this long, gosh, you're a trooper. It's almost 3 hours long, so I guess this is a slow deck. If you like to play slow Magic, here's a deck for you. But we will see you next time. Thank you, folks. Have a good one.